What's up, guys? We are back with another Mythic Legions review, but we're digging into, I guess, the archives, so to speak, of figures that I've never taken a look at, figures that I've never reviewed, and we're going way back to 1.0 with a figure that you cannot easily buy at all anymore, and it's kind of a weird one because it shares a spot in the line. So we're taking a look at the Skeleton Legion Builder, but this is the gold skeleton. So he is a Legion Builder, but he occupies the same spot as the standard Legion Builder, so much that they share packaging too. So it's kind of a weird one, but he also looks really cool, so I couldn't pass this guy up. And yeah, I think we've got a pretty solid figure here, especially if you know what's going on with skeletons in this line. So, of course, he comes in the same standard packaging that we've seen time and time again with Legions. Figure in the window, you've got the logo down there on the bottom. The side has got the little bio card, although this does not have a bio since it's a Legion Builder, and he has the picture for himself and the regular non-gold Legion Builder. And then the back has that original cross-sell, original artwork, and then the write-up for Mythos. So let's do it. Let's pull this guy out and take a look. And here he is out of the package, our gold skeleton Legion Builder. So this guy is among my favorite faction race, if you want to really call him that, when it comes to Legions. I've made it pretty clear in a number of videos at this point that generally speaking, skeletons are my favorite thing. And when it comes to the more gaudy, weird, goofy colored skeletons, I'm always on board. Keltis for that bright blue color, Scaphoid for the green. I still need to get my hands on a Clavian. I really wish he had won the vote in All-Stars, but this guy is one that kind of fills that void as well. He's not quite as gaudy or ostentatious. He's not bright, neon colors, but he does stand out. There aren't really any other gold colored characters that are like this. There is obviously gold, bronze, copper throughout the line. This guy's still a little different. He is a little bit on the dumbed down side when it comes to armor paint because, well, he doesn't really have any because he's a Legion Builder still. So despite the fact that he is unique amongst a lot of the skeletons, he is still a Legion Builder. So let's see what this guy can do. If you have any familiarity with skeletons, 1.0 style skeletons that is, you know what's going on here. So the head can look up pretty good. It doesn't really look down though. And then you've got a good amount of tilt, so give him a little attitude, and then rotation. Your arms go out at the shoulder. You do always have to get this piece for these particular arms up over the shoulder piece though, but then they do move quite well. It's one of those things, how is this attached to that body? And then you've got rotation at the shoulder. You've got a single rotating elbow. You've got forearm swivel, wrist swivel, and wrist hinge, and then you've got a ball peg in the waist for this single buck, basically. So he's got some full rotation, tilt side to side, and then forward and backward movement there as well. Legs go all the way out and give him the skeleton splits, forward all the way, backward all the way. No thigh cut on these guys because of the fact that there is, well, no thigh, it's a bone. You've got a single rotating knee, as is the norm for the line, and then you've got rocker, you've got hinges, and then you've got rotation at those ankles. So he is, he's standard stuff for Mythic Legions. If you've messed with any older skeleton or any skeleton that's on a 1.0 style buck, you know exactly what you're getting into. They move pretty well. I've got no real issues with looseness or stuck joints on this guy, even though he is, pretty old for this line at this point. Now, as is the norm with Legions, my main focus for these guys is generally speaking, the looks. And this guy just kind of ticks all the boxes for me because I do really dig the skeletons, so we've got that going for it. I like the kind of goofy colors, I guess is the best way to say it. And this guy's kind of a goofy looking skeleton. Why is he gold? Does it matter? Absolutely not. So he is a Legion Builder, so you've got very standard parts as far as this figure goes. So we've seen this configuration before. There is, of course, another Legion Builder 1.0 skeleton. Pixis has, stuff like this going on, so we've seen things like that. But he has a lot of the more common parts, and they're just done up in this very bronze, coppery kind of color. No inlay paint job or anything like that. None of the rivets are painted, so none of the finer details that you would see on a normal figure are painted because it's a Legion Builder. He's a cheaper figure. Well, he's not cheap anymore, and if you're so inclined, you could paint that stuff up yourself. He does, of course, have the very distinct quality of having these golden bones, which I think work really well in contrast to the bronze copper armor. I always love this goofiness over here when it comes to this armor. Is this plated there? I don't know. Does it matter? Again, not really, but it's kind of a cool thing. He needs some armor there. Let's just rivet it onto his bones. Why not? He's a skeleton. So I dig the design. I love these armor choices. figures. I just like the color combination, and it's one of those things where this, again, kind of ticks all the boxes for me because I like this concept, and it works really, really well, at least on my shelf. And then we've got a very time-tested head sculpt here as far as the skeleton goes. So there is a lot of detail. You've got like the cracks that run across the skull and up and down it. The teeth are really well done. The eye sockets, you know, kind of soulless. The very Skeletor-esque looking head sculpt there. I really dig it. Works really well in the golden color scheme. There's just not a lot to complain about on this guy. If you're familiar with Legion skeletons, if you're familiar with 1.0 skeletons, and you like the more sort of out there colors, this guy is one to get. Now, when it comes to accessories on this guy, we have got kind of the standard fare when it comes to 1.0 figures. So a lot of stuff that we did see back in those days in that original wave, stuff that we still see, and then kind of the one signature weapon that a lot of figures got back then. To start with, we do have the Pauldrons for the figure, which this is one that I think you can kind of go either way on, but for my money, generally speaking, Pauldrons are always welcome on a figure, and this guy does look a little bit more menacing, a little bit beefed up with him as well. It gives him a little bit more girth, and it doesn't really impede his articulation any either. Nothing really gets in the way. So you've got some more of that kind of inlaid filigree work that matches the chest armor there. Again, no paint on it as far as that inlay detail or anything because, of course, he is a Legion builder. Now, as far as accessories goes, he has, you know, he's got a strap, things like that. We've always got the normal strap, but then we've got some actual weaponry. So you've got a little dagger here, and it's done up in a slightly darker color than the armor itself with a black wash in the actual handle. So you've got kind of a gunmetal color for the blade, and then a coppery with black wash color going on the handle. And then you've got one of these long swords. This is among my favorite as far as just the standard swords, the non, you know, specialized or unique ones. More of that gunmetal with that same kind of coppery bronze color and the wash in there. And then you've also got this big guy. So this is kind of one of the mainstays of 1.0 Mythic Legions. We don't really see this too often in figures anymore. I mean, I'm sure we have, but I can't think of one right off the top of my head right now. So you've got the big one-bladed axe here. This is how it comes in the package. You've got more of that kind of wash in there, gunmetal blade. You can pop this guy off, so that little piece on the back side, and you get an extra blade to give it the double-bladed effect, which was pretty common in 1.0 as well. So you can go one-bladed or two-bladed, and then you've also got the two swords. So he does come pretty well stocked. So overall, this is a pretty solid figure. Again, for me, it comes down to a couple things. I dig skeletons. I dig the kind of goofy color scheme. So this guy is very different from the normal Legion builder because that one's more of a standard skeleton. This guy is a little something special almost. He doesn't have the same level of paint as most figures, but he is a Legion builder. He is a cheaper at retail price figure. That said, is he worth the aftermarket price now? Maybe not, because of the fact that he is a Legion builder. These guys go for kind of ridiculous prices now because they're just not out there. They're not easy to get a hold of, and scarcity plays a factor in that. So, you know, your mileage may vary on whether or not you think it's worth it now, but you're probably paying in excess of $100 for this guy, and he is a cool figure, but it's going to come down to whether or not you're that invested in Mythic Legions. So that's going to do it for this look at the Mythic Legions 1.0 Gold Skeleton Legion Builder. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.